one of the number one issues that relationships will encounter is financial issues.
And I thought to myself, what have we done?
Then I'm like, if you do nothing else but go and buy 2 investment properties and pay off your mortgage and you're debt-free in 10 years' time, boom, mission accomplished.
You know, when you talk about a 30-year mortgage, I feel so burdened by that. I can feel the weight on my shoulders.
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Australian Property Investment Podcast. You know it's going to be a banging episode when I bring on my wife slash business partner, Bernadette, Christy David. Welcome on, how you doing?
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me. Happy to be back.
I love having you back here because, we talk all things money off the field. It's nice to be sharing a little bit about what happens behind the scenes, I think, with people that listen, tune in, know our journey. And on that point, dropped the kids off this morning, the 2 of us. I think there's, off the back of school holidays and spending a good amount of quality time, I think there's a level of getting dialed in is for us, focused. You know, here we are at the start of Feb and, you know, plenty's happened already in 2026. We talk about rates going up, for example. For us personally, seeing the market still very, very strong. Our team has grown. We're in this beautiful new podcast studio that you and Georgia and the team have gone through a lot of hard work to build as well. So do you want to share with people about what's happened from probably their last appearance to now?
Well, I can't remember when I was last on, but I've been all consumed with the commercial property here, our new office, and it finally feels complete, I must say, because we're here in this space. We're here recording together, and it has been a labour of love. I think it has close to 2.5 years to get to this position.
Something that, just on that point, something that our personal coach, the 2 of us, says is that we don't celebrate the journey enough. Like we get to this point, like right onto the next thing.
100%. And so on that, we built the office, moved in about August 2025, and it was more than half empty. And I thought
the desks
in terms of the space and the team that we had. And I thought to myself, what have we done? We have gone and bought this commercial property. I've gone and spent the last 2.5 years of my life fitting it out, planning it. What have we done? And we have experienced, the only way I can describe it is a timeline shift. From August 2025 to now, our office is now completely full. We've recruited and hired and onboarded double our team that we had at August, and our office is now officially full. And this has happened literally in the space of 6 months.
Yeah.
It's incredible to be in this position, but absolutely right. We completed this stage and now it's like the universe is like, okay, onwards and upwards. What's the next step? But it's beautiful to be here right now to reflect on what has been, where we've been on our journey. We're coming up to 10 years of Atelier Wealth in July of 2026. And what 10 years of shared vision, of goals, of planning can do. And maybe a little bit of our reflections. Yeah,
I think there's a level of intentionality for us. It's putting one foot in front of the other. I think there's a lot of, if you're listening and going, where's this episode really going to take? It's going to take you on a journey in terms of mindset, in terms of, as a couple, how do you invest? How do you invest in yourself? You've always heard me talk about these type of concepts as well. So from our perspective, wealth, happiness, finding success in property, in your career, in your relationship, in your marriage, we're going to cover a fair amount of turf. If you're tuning in and you're new, you'll find that I very rarely talk about hotspots. I don't think property investing has to do very much with where you invest. It's how you invest. And what I mean by that is it's very much that psychology of investing. Is your partner on board? Are you making good decisions? Is there a very clear strategy here, for example? I'd usually talk about taking decision fatigue off the table, which I did a presentation to the hashtag community recently, and something that really kind of nailed it there was making decisions binary. And what I mean by that is people get caught up in like loans and like, how do I structure the loan? I'm like, look, mate, it's very simple. It's variable or it's fixed. It's principal and interest or it's interest only. You're buying a house or you're buying not a house. You're buying regional or you're buying metro. You're buying a residential property or a commercial property. And when we make these decisions so binary, it almost becomes so basic that I'm like, yeah, let's dumb this whole thing down respectfully to go make these decisions much easier and palatable. Draw a line on a piece of paper and go, is this a property decision or a loan decision? And I think when we've done that, it's okay, what's the worst case scenario? And you talk about this property here, you know, we've got one rate rise already under our belt. Maybe we went through, how many, 13 rate rises?
Oh, we went through 13.
13 with commercial, home, investment properties. So I have huge empathy for people. We have huge empathy for people that go through it. We're another couple, 2 kids, got a mortgage, got properties, still trying to have a lifestyle as well. What I want to do is say, I meet you. And I think I want to be very open. I don't listen to other property podcasts. I don't know what gets said on property podcasts. We don't do it. I don't do it for the reason that I don't want to say something that someone else has said and then I feel like a copycat. We're running our race. There's enough people that are tuning into this potty that we know we get really, really strong engagement. I'm not trying to, and we've said this in the past as well, we're not trying to go viral. We're not trying to rage bait. We're not trying to just say things to get reactions. We're just here to play a game that attracts like-minded individuals that want to build their wealth through property, have a great life, enjoy their life with their family, for example, and look back like we have in our business in 10 years' time going, damn, what an amazing decade. And if that's you, then strap yourself in because we've got a couple of things that I want to cover off as well. Having said that, though, as we get to the end of summer holidays, I want to put a book recommendation in there for anyone listening, and it's The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel. Now, this is a book that I've got for you to read, Bernie.
I don't think I've seen Aaron as enamored with a book as this one, and I'm very eager to jump into it. I would love to hear, there's been about 2 or 3 key takeaways or revelations, I would say, that you've had. But can you share?
Yeah, I think there's one saying in there, who's the author that he references? It's not, I have to find the details. The inner ring is the concept. Now, the inner ring is the concept that when I make it to that level, I'm going to be happier. So let's say... So
when I make it to... When I get
10 properties and I'm part of this elite club.
Or when I get to CFO, CEO level, or when I get to that level of managerial role in corporate, I'll be happy. When I get to this level of income, 250K, I'll be happy. Everything will be sorted.
Yeah. Whatever that level that you're trying to unlock and get to, you go, once I get there, I'll be happy because I'll be in that inner ring.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you realize it wasn't what it was cracked up to be.
Yeah.
And I think for me personally, hearing that, I was like, or reading that, I was like, that's absolutely right. And the example I shared with our team here, with the crew was, I thought when I got a seat at the big broker table, the heavy hitters, I'd be happy. Now, don't get me wrong, I was very clear. I was appreciative of opportunities. Mm-hmm. But what I don't appreciate is the other egos, and that's something that I don't buy into. And I think for me, I was like, maybe this isn't the table for me. I really enjoy our team, or I enjoy people that have no ego and love life, for example. And that was just one takeaway from the book. Yeah. What I also felt is a lot of money books, invest, save. You're doing money wrong. Here's all the charts around S&P for the last 200 years. And I'm like, mate, this isn't moving the needle for me. I know I should invest. This is quite logical in that sense, right? How to buy property. And it's great for a lot of people out there that need that information. But what people don't have is a blueprint about how to spend money without feeling guilty.
Absolutely.
And I don't mind spending money. I don't. And I don't want to feel guilty for it because we have buckets, right? We have financial buckets where our income comes, it gets split out into bills, it gets split out into general household expenses, and then you and I get effectively an allowance to spend on whatever we want.
No questions asked. You don't look into each other's accounts for those particular spend buckets. And it's everyone will have a different spend bucket.
Yeah.
If you're trying to pay off credit card debt, and you're desperately trying to save for your first home, your spend bucket might be a lot smaller than someone else who's on a much higher income.
And it's been that way for us. Like we started out very, very small.
Very small.
Give me $20 a week and I'm just going to go and buy myself a nice little burger on the weekend. No questions asked. Like it starts like that.
Yeah.
And then it moves a little bit more. So we'll have a portion that gets put towards the investment property portfolio.
Yep.
A portion gets put towards our two girls, and it's something that we've done since they were born. I'm telling everyone openly and honestly, what do they get per week?
So we're putting away for the girls $100 a fortnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistently since they were born.
And they have a very decent little savings bucket along with the birthday money that they get and all those bits and pieces. But to make it really simple for listeners, there are a range of buckets that we have, but we have three key categories that our salary that we get paid to ourselves. Those three categories are living. Living is paying off your mortgage, your bills, food,
fuel,
activities, kids stuff, that all goes in there. The second is lifestyle. That's our two buckets. That's also savings for travel that we want to do. And then the third one is the investing and savings bucket. So savings for the girls, savings for us as a household, and then investment property portfolio. So everyone will have different categories and different buckets, but essentially if you can break it into those three: living, investing, and fun, lifestyle, enjoyment, whatever, then step down to that next level of what are the granularities and where is our money going? And it's so automated for us now. Our salaries come in. The next day I've set up automatic disbursements. They go out all to the buckets and no one has to think. And I think in the past where we've had conflict is there's been a lack of clarity. And you always say clarity is kindness. Clarity is kindness with money, with each other. And if you know, hey, I've got my $100 a week or $200 a week, whatever your allowance is, and I can spend whatever I want. Maybe it's your nails, maybe it's your hair, maybe you like going out for drinks with your friends, it's going to that cold plunge session, maybe you're saving your little bit up week on week.
Yeah, I've got better at saving my little portion.
You are.
Yeah.
Week on week, and you're going to go on a yoga retreat. So like you do you, boo, with that bucket, but that little bit of freedom, I think, is really required.
I think, and we're talking about the finished product here in terms of what the buckets look like now. We want to be very clear. You have to expect a lot of financial friction to get to that point. So financial friction is part of any relationship. I'm going to put that on the table. Anyone that thinks, hey man, money's just a taboo topic, we don't talk about it. One of the number one issues that relationships will encounter is financial issues. And I call it fighting fair with finances is kind of the little intro that I want to talk about is how do we as a couple, so someone listening, and generally what we get is it's one person in the relationship listening. I think at this point you want to timestamp it and go, how do we listen to this as a couple? To go, how do we get on the same page financially? Because the analogy that I'm going to put out there is you cannot build a house with two different blueprints. And we know that because we're literally talking about reno plans at the moment for our own home. And we are constantly having chats back and forth going, is this right? What do you think? What do you think? And let me tell you, at the end of the day, when I'm mentally spent to come home and then talk about the floor plans, it's important, but geez, it's like, okay, we'll get to it later. It's like, no, we got to have this conversation now because we're trying to move forward.
Time is of the essence as
We
well.
are trying to move forward. So what I'm trying to get with this is if we had two different ideas on how to build this house would not get built. Right. Yeah, I'd have my say, you'd have your say, and then it just leaves this underlying conflict that no one's simmering away until it kind of bursts like a dam. So how do we talk about finances as a couple? Because I'll give you one good example that I deal with a lot of couples. I want to pay off my home first. I do not want to invest in property. Only once my home is paid off will I go and buy an investment property. And yeah, it'll get me going a little bit if I start to go down this rabbit hole, which I'll probably handball to you to go, how do you have this conversation politely as a couple to go, I hear you, I see you, but you may need to rethink this strategy about paying off your home to have it fully owned outright before you go and invest in property.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. I was the one 10 years ago saying, we've got to save, we've got to buy the home, we've got to pay it off. And that worked for our parents. That worked in the 80s and 90s. It will not work now. I can guarantee if you are working and paying off your mortgage, even if you're just paying the minimum off, even if you're paying a little bit extra off every month, it will not lead to your financial freedom and security when you get to the end of that loan term. And the wealth that you're able to create by doing both at the same time will change the trajectory of your family's life and will allow you, when you have your children go to university and they say, I want to go interstate, or I need and you're like, I got it.
Yeah.
And I think, so going back to, I suppose, the journey that I've been on, I've been very fortunate that as a mortgage broker for the last 10 years, I have seen the journeys of thousands of investors and the investors that have just gotten in, made the decision, I'm going to invest with or without a buyer's agent, because back in the day you didn't necessarily need one. And they've held it, they've been in a deficit month on month, they've just kept chipping in. 1, 2, 3 years, you don't see much in terms of growth, capital growth. The jumps that we've seen from people now as they're entering their 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th year of holding these properties, the gains that people are making, 200, 300, 400, 500 plus thousand.
On each property.
On each property.
Yeah.
For a shortfall of, call it, what, 500 a month?
I generally call it about $150 a week. So yeah, you're spot on.
500 a month. Now, 500 a month.
I'm gonna jump in there because I had this yesterday. Got a client wants to buy a property. Got a $60,000 car loan.
Oh, I know you always talk about cars.
And so I said, mate, that repayment's got to be at least $900 a month. It's like, yeah, I'm tipping a little extra. It's $1,000. I was like, holy shit! And you're worried about this investment property costing you $150 a week, and you're paying $1,000. That $60,000 car loan. In 5 years, what's the car going to be worth? Maybe 25, 30 grand. In 5 years' time, this property's nearly doubled if you've bought in a growth market.
Yeah.
I said, mate, I can't work with it. If that's your attitude, you won't get the best out of me, and I won't get the best out of you. I'm not the broker for you. I had to shut down the conversation because I'm like, it's probably a little bit of tough love, but I'm like, you're allowing that to happen. You are not serious enough about investing in property.
And straight talk from us, we, as our family, we have 2 old used cars.
Mate.
We've got 2 Mazdas. Like,
we are so transparent.
Yeah.
We're so I'm telling everyone. We're probably, and again, there's zero flex in this, but I want to talk about the journey.
Yeah.
Right now, 10 years later, we're earning more than what we did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But the cars are worse than what they were 10 years ago because we both had fairly new cars 10 years ago.
Correct. And again, this comes back to values and priorities as a couple. And if your priority as a couple is, and it's subconscious as well, sometimes you don't even realize, but if your priority is like, you need to be seen to be doing well, you can have the car loan and the car lease. And
Bernie, you were there. Probably when I took and I've mentioned the story about how I had a GTI Golf, sold it, had a shitty car afterwards.
Yeah.
And what did everyone say? They said, man, is business not going well for you? And I said, it's the exact opposite. I said, mate, it's the exact opposite. Business is going better, therefore I've got less need to impress or prove myself. And I knew at that point I was going against the grain. Because when everyone saw from the outside, the bloke must be struggling, I loved it. And that, again, just lit something in me. And that should light something in a lot of our investor clients. Humble, man. Some of our clients that have really big portfolios do not have a Rolex. They do not have a supercar. They don't, and I've got nothing against those things. I think they have a place, particularly when you've worked hard to get there.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is they're not trying to flex. A lot of them don't talk about their portfolios. They can't. Who are they going to tell to their friends and family, mate, I'm just buying my 8th property, my 6th property, my 5th property. The look of judgment they'll get from their inner circle, from their friends, I can tell you, they go about their business very, very quietly. They fly under the radar. And it's a shame because that doesn't get celebrated, because every time someone puts that up on any type of like property or Facebook group, you can just see the comments, shoot them down. You don't own that. The bank owns your properties. Look at your debt. The property market's going to tumble. And I can just guarantee when I'm looking at these comments, the people commenting probably don't have much to their name. And it sounds harsh, but like I'm talking to an inner sanctum of people that are listening going, yeah, I want someone that can think abundantly, and I want someone that can think bigger. And that's what I'm trying to circle back to on this conversation, to go, when you have an abundance mindset, all that little minor stuff doesn't faze you. The car you drive, the brand label clothes, the flex on the wrist, for example, none of that matters, because you know in your heart of hearts, I am genuinely moving the needle, and wealth that can't be seen, like stealthy, wealthy stuff.
Oh, stealthy wealth.
Mate, this is the stuff I make up on the fly. Stealthy, wealthy.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that in 5-10 years' time, people then ask you going, geez, man, that was a bit lucky that you bought in that market. That was a bit lucky that you got a chat to that mortgage broker.
And they didn't see you foregoing, like, you wanted that car, you wanted that watch, you wanted that home, or whatever it is that you sacrifice. They didn't see that internal clash that you had, because that's your battle, right? And you're going, hey, I'm playing a bigger game. I've got something bigger that me and my family are working towards. Yeah. And when you have that inner fire and that inner drive, everything else becomes noise.
Correct. So if we go back to money and marriage, fighting fair financially, for example, I think the first thing that we're trying to say is, how do you have an open conversation like this? Yeah. And maybe it's going to a third party. We've been open. We've got someone that is a third party that acts as an intermediary sometimes when there is friction. We can have a catch up and put these issues on the table. It takes a lot of the emotion out. It's on neutral ground, for example, in someone else's office.
Can I give the example of how we first started, though? Because this actually started in our marriage counselling session.
Correct.
So this is a throwback. We've been married 13 years this year.
Yeah, this year.
So this is going back 13 years. And we had a whole workbook that we sat down and worked through with our pastor. And one of the questions was a whole section on money. And the questions start off, this is how granular sometimes it needs to be. But questions are, if you're giving a gift, how much do you think is an appropriate monetary amount to put towards it?
Like gifts, like family and friends.
Gifts for family, gifts for birthdays. Aaron would write down an amount. I would write down an amount. They're different amounts.
Very different. I'm not a gift giver.
He's not a gift giver. He's like, no gift. I'm like, oh, at the moment, I don't know, $50, right? Inflation, and if you watch this back later, don't quote me. But talking about who paid the bills in your household.
It was my mum that did all the banking for our household.
It was my dad in my household. So when we first got together, I was like, oh, he's got it. And he was thinking, oh, no, she's got it. She's doing all the bills. No one was paying the bills. It got a bit messy. And then we had to have that mess to go, hey, dude. And then we had to have this course to be like, hey, who is actually doing what? And I think if we could, I'd love to be able even to give a list of questions that we could help guide people on. That's something we can
let's work that together.
Pull that together and just have some very basic conversations about whose responsibility is it to pay for the bills? Who's keeping an eye on the mortgage repayments? Who
initiates the conversation with the broker?
Correct.
To get the documents to the broker. Who then runs point with the loan?
Yeah.
Who then engages the buyer's agent or the financial planner or the accountant? Who then, to keep all the documents on the Google Drive.
Yep.
Because when it comes time for tax time, we need a depreciation report, for example. We need to lodge the tax return. We need to set up the new trust. We need to set up the self-managed super fund. We need to get independent legal advice. I'm talking about all the jobs that Bernie does here. Because apparently this is... No, I tell clients to do it. I just don't ever do it. This is all, and I can see it's so time consuming because I'm like, who are you talking to now? It's like, bloody, I'm talking to the accountant. The next trust is getting set up.
This guy's like, who are all these people calling you? And I'm like, this is what it takes to achieve the goals you've set, right?
Correct.
And I think often what isn't spoken about is that there is just a level of administration.
Huge.
And
In 2026, just strap yourself in for the amount of paperwork.
Yep.
And time that it takes. Anyone that's looking to buy a self-managed super fund and they haven't got it set up, I'm like, whatever time you're thinking, double that.
Yep.
And it's not through any tardiness on us or an accountant, for example. It just takes time.
It just takes time.
For us, it might even take 2 or 3 weeks to get an appointment with myself even, and then you got to speak to a buyer's agent, then you got to go through a bank. You just don't walk into a broker's office, any high achieving broker, you just don't get an appointment tomorrow.
No.
So if you can't get an appointment with me and you want to go to someone else, just know, mate, they're not available tomorrow.
Yeah.
You need time.
Yeah.
Time with a good accountant. Man, they're blocked out. Most of these people are blocked out for 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, or not taking on new clients. But yeah, I mean, getting back to that point of being really clear about what are the roles and responsibilities in your household financially, who does what.
Now, who puts the bins out? It's exactly the same way with money. Bad example. I forgot to put the bins out yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Who does put the bins out? But I think once you can get clear, like when you're at work, who's responsible for what, then there's no ambiguity. It's so clear, and then you're your running point. Aaron, like the way that we check in is I've got a 13-week rolling cash flow that I update every Monday. Aaron checks that Monday afternoon.
Monday, 4 p.m. I'm straight on that.
He's checking that. If I have an update, it's an expectation that is complete. That's done. He's checking that. So then we don't even have to have a conversation. Now, I'm not saying if you're beginning to not have conversations about money.
It gets to the point. It gets to the point you're having less conversations, but otherwise it's a regular conversation. And when you're looking at the bank account and you're like, what's going in, what's coming out? We've been there where it's like you're watching every bloody dollar come in and out.
Yeah.
It's like L plater stuff. You've got to be on your L plates financially for a little bit. Then you move to your P plates, and then you just move to like unconsciously. This just happens on autopilot.
Yeah.
But it takes time and effort. And I think if we go back to the very part of this conversation, which was, do I buy my own home or to invest? I just want to round this out. What happens if you had an agreement as a couple to invest, to then sell those investment properties off in, say, 7 to 10 years and pay off your mortgage? If nothing else, if at the very least that's all you did and you were mortgage free in 10 years' time, let me walk you through the concept. Most of our clients have nearly over $1 million mortgage. I'm like, what are you going to do for 30 years, mate? 30 years, what do you just like, get up, go to work, come home, dinner, Netflix, sleep, get up the kids, repeat for 30 years to try and pay off this loan? I'm like, I asked them, like, how are you going to pay off this mortgage? And they look at me like, no one's ever asked this question before. I said, there's got to be a better way. On my watch, no one's got 30-year mortgages. No one. Right, what happens if we bought 2 investment properties at 500 grand, they double, they both get to $1 million, you pay your CGT, you pay them out, and then bang, there's your mortgage paid off in 10 years' time. And you can see them, no one's had this conversation. It's like, yeah, mate, I say it constantly, we're not the mortgage brokers to save you money, we're the mortgage brokers to make you money.
Yeah.
And if you could find out how much then you saved in interest over 20 years' time, on $1 million mortgage, you pay nearly $1 million in interest.
Correct.
Right? Over 30 years. So take your mortgage down by, even call it 15 years, and imagine where your life will be in 15 years when you have no mortgage and you can spring out of bed and go to work because you want to, not because you have to. Because you made the effort to go and buy 2 investment properties as a minimum. There's another episode I've got someone lined up to actually go down and double down this concept, because I am so bullish on this that I'm like, if you do nothing else but go and buy 2 investment properties and pay off your mortgage and you're debt free in 10 years time, boom, mission accomplished. But then it just takes you to version 2.0, which is now that your home's paid off, then you can go into the next phase of investing. If you have to have your mortgage paid off, done. If you want to have your cake and eat it too, which is I want to buy my own home and I want to buy an investment property, buy the home, and then buy an investment property through a self-managed super fund. Bang. Best of both worlds.
Yep.
So again, if you just want to turn it off right now and go to your partner and go, I think we can do own home and investment. Here's how we do it. Mission accomplished. You can literally turn this off right now. But again, I want to take you guys and girls on the journey to go, this is what uncommon people are doing to get uncommon results, whereas most of the lemmings out there are going to try and pay off a 30-year mortgage and just get up on autopilot. I think you're listening to this podcast because you're looking for a better way.
And to wrap it up, I would say, when you talk about a 30-year mortgage, I feel so burdened by that. I can feel the weight on my shoulders. But when you talk about a 10-year plan to be mortgage free, I'm like, I can work with 10 years. Like 10 years, I'm still going to be fit, healthy, like ready to go.
Travel with kids, man, enjoy life. When did we buy Woonona? Our house
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
And if we had a game plan to pay it off within 5 years,
yep,
that's 10 years.
Yep.
Which is our plan. Again, I'm being very open and transparent and sharing with everyone. Pay off the home in 10 years' time. Again, I'm not telling you to go get asset finance. We don't do asset finance. Don't buy the cars. Pay off your home in 10 years' time. We're doing it. Like, we are in the trenches with everyone going, we are on the journey with you, but we're leading you because we're doing it ourselves and we're putting our money where our mouth is.
Paying off the mortgage in 10 years, investing in the property, investing in ourselves, making those steps, being with our family, investing in our health, all of those.
Just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer is like, I genuinely want anyone that's listening, I want them to have a good life.
Yep.
That's all it comes from. The commissions that we get paid, minuscule. Like, honestly, there's no commission breath about me. The amount of times I tell clients when they've got loans where they are, I'm like, keep them. I don't have incentives to go and just refinance loans to get paid. That's not what we're about. We're not monetizing what we're doing. We're not trying to look for sponsors on the potty, for example. None of this is about monetizing our community. We're not putting courses out there you got to pay for example. We're giving you access to a blueprint to a better life financially, but also as a couple as well. And I want to split this episode into two because I think that's a fair amount of turf that we've covered for a lot of people to kind of go, I need to let this simmer. I need to let this percolate. Maybe I need to come back to this and listen to this with my respective partner, because this is what happens. And I think I read, this happened with the book. I read a paragraph or two and I gave it to you and I got you to read it, and you took away something completely different from that than I had it. And the amount of times that happens when I share an episode or a potty with you and you go, oh, this is what I got out of it. I was like, it's completely different what my interpretation was. And as a couple, that's what I'm trying to go to. Like, you have very different life experiences, interpretations that you just can't go to this person going, Aaron said this, and now we're going to go buy 2 investment properties. And the other partner's going, oh, easy up, Tiger. That sounds like a lot of risk. And you need to go on this journey together. You need to butt heads. There needs to be some financial friction, because that's the only way you're going to get to the other side, which is alignment and then enjoyment. Because I think couples think any relationship that takes work isn't worth it.
Oh, it's just so far from the truth. And I'm even thinking about 2 different sets of friends that we have, and one set of friends that are just so on the path. They're setting up a meeting with me in a week, and we're going to be going through their buckets and what their investing journey is going to look like. And they are so dialed into making this work and getting it right for them. And that's time out of their work day. Like, they're investing the time in themselves and each other and in their family's future to get this right. And I know that whatever I tell them, they will action. And I can think of another set of friends that they're not on the same page, and they're just not having the conversation even. It's like that it's so firm. Someone has their opinion, and then the other one is like, oh, well, what about this? But there's no conversation being had, and I just can see this stalemate happening.
Well, no conversation equals conflict.
Conflict, yeah. It's stagnant, stale energy, and my hope is that we can just be a couple for you that's saying, we've had the conversations, we've gone through the frictions, It's not easy at times. There's been times we've tapped our card at the grocery store and there's no money, and you're like, oh shit, what are we going to do? But the constant communications and this and the planning, the annual planning that we do year on year, the goal setting, the vision boards, the keeping each other to account. Now, 10 years on, has compounded.
So just like any asset will compound over 10 years, 10 years of growth. Any relationship that then you put work, you don't see the returns, and then you get to 10 years, you look back, you go, oh, now it makes sense in hindsight, all those decisions that kind of click together as well. So, we're trying to say to everyone, say that. And I'm the amount of people that reach out the back of the podcast that are seeking a better life. Like you guys are, we call them ambitious Australians. You don't have to, we're not talking about certain income levels or you've got to be in this type of demographic, none of that. It's just going, we are looking for more ambitious people that want to level up and go, yeah, I like the way you guys are talking because that's uncommon. And we're on the journey just like you guys. So if that's you, this resonates, share it with your partner, join us for round 2. Look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks very much.